What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia and I'm showing you these new water bottles I just got in. I'm so excited because I've been wanting to try these and you know, I haven't gotten around to it. I didn't even have any on hand. I had a water bottle upstairs in my bathroom that I used to spritz my hair in the morning with, and my daughter and her friend decided to take that outside and squirt each other with it and then left it in the grass. It was a green bottle and my husband ran over it with a lawnmower. So I don't have a water bottle anymore. So I ordered these. They just came in and I'm going to decorate one for myself. And if you're interested to see how these turn out, stick around and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I prepped this like I would prep a stainless steel tumbler. I sanded it with a fine grit paper and I spray painted it using Rustoluem 2 times. This one is the grape color. What's it called? Gloss grape. And this one is spa blue. And these are both gloss and I prefer matte, but I have trouble finding matte other than in white and black. So you can use, you know, gloss or matte, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, and you can use whatever color you're, you know, obviously working with. So I always spray paint a base color of the colors that the color glitters that I'm gonna use so that I can get better coverage. So I've mixed my epoxy here. I'm using Stone Coat's Quick Coat, and I'm gonna apply my glitter using the epoxy method. And when you do it this way, you only need a very little bit. You do not need a lot. So if your finger is smearing way too much over it, then you've got too much. So you're using this like a glue. This is going to be your adhesive for your glitter. And the reason why I am doing the epoxy method over, say, Tack It or over Mod Podge is because I'm using a little bit of a chunky glitter. So I tend to, when I use a chunkier glitter, I definitely like using the epoxy method. I feel like it holds the glitter better. And, you know, it adheres it better to the surface. So you really have to work it. You're going to use maybe 1 ml total, and I mix more for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm going to make some earrings out of this gorgeous glitter, and 2, because I don't know how to mix that little of epoxy. It's like such a little amount, like I don't even know how to do that. So I'm just smearing it down, making sure I get good coverage. Making sure, you know, obviously the whole thing is covered. And I do have the thread part taped off. You definitely want that taped off, but as soon as you're done glittering, you want to take that right off. You do not want to leave that on because you do not want your epoxy sealing your tape to your bottle, cup, whatever it is that you're doing. You know, and obviously what I'm doing here, you can do on a cup, you can do on a vase, you can do on, you know, any glass cup. You know, that's the cool thing about when you do stuff is, you know, you have multiple things you can do this on. You're not limited to just doing tumblers. You're not limited to just doing, you know, certain types of glasses. You know, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. You know, I did a water slide on canvas and did the Dawn dish soap Dawn's power wash on it, and it was like came out so cool. All right, so I've got what I feel like is good coverage. It's not like drippy. I don't see any lines. It looks good. You'll know if it's not good because, you know, the glitter will fall off and not stick to that place. So just make sure you get up and around here really well. All right, so, and this is Quick Coat, guys. So this particular Quick Coat will set in 2 hours. I know Illuminate. I've used Illuminate Quick Set, and it took a little bit longer. It took more like 4 to 5 hours. It's still fast, but this one's pretty quick, and I just prefer this one. The first color I'm going to come in with is called Oasis. It is a gorgeous purple and blue shift. It's by Glitter Makes It, of course, and they also, here's its little sister, Distracted globe, and it actually has an even chunkier version, which I probably can't find quickly, but I think it's Artemis. It might be Artemis, I don't know. So I am going to start with my blue. So what I did was I mixed two blues. This is called Shallows, and I don't have it tagged yet, and this is I Like Warm Hugs. And so these have the equal chunkiness. I don't know the hex cut of it, but I'm going to start on the bottom here, and I'm just going to go around. And at first I'm going to just get the bottom really well. Then I'm going to go up a little bit. And when I start to get close to my spray line is when I'm going to start to fade it and ombre it. Which your ombre doesn't have to be perfect because you are going to be putting, you know, a strip in it. But, you know, for purposes of your own, you know, this is like a good way to practice your ombre without actually having to show it because you're going to be covering the center anyway. So if you're not really good at ombres, here's a good way to practice. So I'm not going to do a full, like I'm going to put a little bit more on, but right now I'm going to be conservative because I just want to kind of get the colors on there. Then I'm going to come in and fill in a little bit more. So I have that one. All right, now I'm going to come in with my Oasis, and I'm going to start at the top. This Oasis is something else. This color is amazing. I'm just holding it on an angle, just going downwards. So I probably didn't go down. I didn't go far enough with the blue. But that's okay, because I'm going to come back. I can come back with the blue. Make sure you save your glitter. Make sure you don't dump it all over the place like I just did. And it's like I dump glitter on a regular. All right. Just going in on an angle, just trying to get that blend. And you know, sometimes when you're doing this too, like you think it looks really bad, and then when you put it under epoxy, it looks so much better. Like it seems to just like, I don't know, epoxy is like magic. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle around I keep calling it a cup, it's not a cup, the bottle a little bit more. So we're doing this exactly like we would do any, you know, any cup. All right, I'm gonna put that there for a minute. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to just hold it up, and I'm going to blend this again. So you may need to do this a couple of times before you get, you know, the look that you want. Be patient. And I'm just going to go over this one more time. Alright, now I'm going to just do my bottom. And I'm just going to come around here again and just make sure I didn't miss any spots, like any spots that look like they might be a little bit light. Which I think it's pretty good coverage. I'm pretty happy with this. Look how gorgeous this glitter is. This is like so amazing. Alrighty. So I'm gonna clean this up and I'm gonna come back because the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna put a glove on and we're gonna pat this glitter flat. All right guys, so I'm gonna come in with a gloved hand. You can use, a lot of people use parchment paper or wax paper. I wouldn't recommend doing it with your bare hand because you are dealing with epoxy, and so you wanna make sure that you don't have any reactions. And so I'm just gonna pat this glitter flat. So that when our epoxy goes on, we don't have to do a whole lot of sanding. Chunky glitter likes to stand up, and although it looks absolutely gorgeous, it's really a pain to try to get smooth. So just hug it around and just flatten it down. At first I was going to do the fine version of this because I thought, I'm like, oh, it's going to be easier to do up around the neck here. But this one isn't too ridiculous chunky, so, and so far it's doing good. So I'm happy with the coverage. So I'm just flattening this down, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to let this hang dry for 2 hours, and then I'm going to spray seal it with my Rustoluem's 2-time gloss or matte, whatever is closer. It doesn't matter which one you use. Or I might even probably use the Krylon triple thick because I like that on the chunkier glitter. I feel like that one holds better, and I've said that before in my other videos. All right, so I've got this pretty flat. I think it's flattened out pretty well. That color shift, I don't know if you can see that color shift. It is so gorgeous. And I've got a pretty nice ombre. I'm really happy with my ombre. It's a shame I'm actually going to be covering it. But again, it's a good way to practice your ombre. So I'm going to let this hang dry for 2 hours. Oh, I'm going to take my tape off now too, because I do not want the tape to be epoxied to my bottle. All right, took that off, and now it's going to hang dry for 2 hours, and I'll be back when I'm putting a coat of epoxy on. Alright guys, so I've got 3 coats of quick coat on this to try to hold this glitter down while I'm epoxying, because I don't want it traveling too much into each other, but a little bit is okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape the neck, and I'm going to tape it twice. And the reason why is because, one, I want to tape it to this arm because it's not secure enough for me. So what I've got is my turner arm, and then I have this, it's weather stripping, and then rubber bands, and so it's in there fairly snug, but not snug enough for me. I don't want it falling out, because who's had cups and stuff fall off their turners? Raise your hands, and we don't want to deal with that mess. So I am going to tape this up really well to this arm and make sure this is not going to come out, and so that's pretty good. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it again, and I think I want to use the skinnier tape. Yeah, I'm going to use the skinnier tape. And so this is the tape that you're going to remove when you're done with the epoxy. So we don't want the epoxy to get on these threads. So we're going to tape around the bottom. Make sure you get it low enough, and make sure this epoxy doesn't get on the threads. You do not want the epoxy on the threads, because you might have, a hard time getting it off, and you try to make things as easy as possible. So we're gonna just do that, and I'm gonna fold this over so it's easy to grab when I go to pull it off. All right. And now I'm going to attach this to my turner, and I'm going to be back to epoxy this. Alright guys, I'm back with this water bottle. So what I did was I untaped it and took it out of its pole, and I put the cap back on because I want to measure where I'm placing this. I'm going to put this H2O over this strip that goes around the middle. So I want to make sure that it lines up, and I'm going to put mine on the front. You can put yours anywhere you want. So I printed this mermaid scale pattern up on printable vinyl, and I'm actually gonna wrap this so that the seam comes in the front so that this covers the seam. So I'm gonna come back here, and I'm just gonna eyeball this like I eyeball everything, and it's probably not a good idea since, you know, I need this to be perfect so that the seam is good. So I might have to, I might regret this a lot. So I'm gonna just place this down. I should have measured it out with the, with it on the paper. And guess what, guys? I got like super, super lucky. So now that I'm looking at this, I think I want some stripes to go around this before I put this one on, because I'm not liking it a lot. So I think I'm gonna print up some silver strips and see what it looks like going around this, and then because I'm kind of playing this by ear, and let's see what that does. So I'll be right back. All right, so I printed some strips on this silver. So this is the same as this H2O. I'm gonna see how this looks. And this vinyl is not actually vinyl, sort of a vinyl. It's made by Starcraft. It's called Metal Chrome Brushed Silver. And I got this from Antioch Graphic Supply. And of course I will link them below like I link everything else. And so I'm just gonna peel this off, and I am going to go around like I did with, I don't know if I could show you. So I'm gonna kind of split the difference and go around. And you know, really I'm playing Russian roulette here, because if I have to pull this up, I am pulling up. I'm gonna be pulling up my printed vinyl. So this is probably not the best thing to do, but I'm kind of experimenting right now because I don't know whether or not I'm gonna like this. So if I pull it up and ruin it, I'm like, whatever, because I'm just gonna change it out anyway. So I got this silver on. And pulling up my other silver strip. So I'm just gonna line this up here, again splitting the difference, following the seam. I had to pull that up a little bit, that was kind of scary. So you know guys, if you don't like this, you can, you know, obviously you can do whatever colors and whatever patterns. This is really just to give you the basics of, you know, how to do something like this. I mean, this is, you know, a lot like, you know, pretty much like a tumbler, only you're doing it with a plastic water bottle. So you know what, I actually like this much better. And you know, now you can see the mermaid scales, like it's definitely, there's a separation there. So I like that. Now I'm gonna keep it like this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a coat of epoxy over it. And the reason why I'm putting a coat of epoxy over it is that when I put this on there, I want it to be smooth and flush. So I don't wanna put it on now because you're gonna see some creases and seams, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna put a coat of epoxy on, make sure I get this all covered up really nice. And then I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna put this on and then put my final coats of epoxy on. But what I am also gonna do before I do a coat of epoxy on this, I am gonna put some polyacrylic on here because this is the brushed silver. And so I'm afraid that the epoxy might repel on it, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm gonna just kind of brush some polyacrylic on this before I put my coat of epoxy on it. So I'm gonna be back when I'm ready to put this on, and that is it for right now. All right, I will see you guys in a little bit. All right guys, so I got a coat of epoxy on this, the quick coat, my Stone Coat quick coat that I use, and I gave it a very light sanding on some bumpy spots. So I did a 120 grit, then I did a 180 or a 220 grit, and just smoothed it out. And so here is my decal that I showed you earlier, the H2O. Make sure that you use transfer tape on this because you do have the loose O in the center, so you don't want to lose that just peeling it up. And I'm just gonna peel this up, and I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna stand up because I'm eyeballing, And I am just going to cover that seam, get it as even as possible, and that seam is like my center point. Just press from the middle outward. And so I like this because you can see underneath the mermaid scale, so it's got like color underneath. And there you have it. So I'm gonna put 1 to 2 more coats of epoxy on this bottle and it's gonna be done. And I will be back with my closing remarks. All right guys, this is done. It took 1 more coat of epoxy and I absolutely love the way this came out. This glitter is so amazing. It's so gorgeous under epoxy or, you know, without epoxy. It's just super pretty and this color change is awesome. But so now I have a water bottle and I'm hoping that my daughter will not take this one. I did make her own little one. So I actually wound up ordering these little ones, not realizing that I had the big ones, but whatever, because this is a 16 ounce and this is an 8 ounce. Really huge size difference. It looks like this is bigger, but I don't know. So with this one, I just did a color shift mica powder. So it's a blue to purple shift, and I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can see that a little bit. And then what I did in the center was I put, it's marble vinyl, and then her name, I put metallic pinstriping, and this is gonna be her water bottle. And I made 1 more because I was having so much fun making these. So I used, again, this is Glitter Makes It. It is a color, it's in the creamsicle family, and I'm gonna list, because I can't think of the color name. It's like peachy something. It's like a peach something is in the name. But I'll put it below. And then this is a vinyl that I printed out, and I put this opalescent other, holographic, I think, maybe not holographic. Anyway, pinstriping. So this came out really, really pretty too. I really love the color. So, you know, this is unlimited as to what you can do. You know, the glitter, non-glitter, you know, if you want to do mica powders, if you just want to spray paint it and put decals on it. So, you know, guys, have at it. Have fun. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check the description down below for the products that I used or where you can find products. Make sure to leave a comment because I love to hear your feedback. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you all next time. Bye.